What is up, everybody? It's Sam, and we are back with another episode of Pessimistic at Best, the podcast. And I have Matt on the pod.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm well. How are you? Thanks for having me.
My pleasure. I feel like I knew that I wanted to have you on my podcast after our weekend in Coloma because
Our beautiful weekend in Coloma.
we just had so many giggles.
We had so many giggles.
I can't stop saying, everybody better be jumping.
Everybody better be jumping.
It's everywhere. It's like it's my vocal stim these days.
Yeah, that meme makes me like happy and sad at the same time.
No, I know.
As the Casey Musgraves adage goes.
100%.
Yeah, if you guys don't know, is that my camera?
Yes.
If you guys don't know, he is he's not who he is anymore.
I know. It's really sad. The conversion therapy worked.
It worked. We have a conversion therapy success story for once.
No, it is actually so sad, especially because not only is he not being his true self, but he's like very confidently being super religious online.
Yeah, and I'm not interested in that
No.
for me any longer.
No. Oh, and it's just so sad to like actually see such a bright spirit like that be dampened.
Yeah, but on the plus, I did see another video on the internet recently where this little boy was doing the dance to another Lady Gaga song called Judas.
Yes.
He was doing like the full choreo, and his dad was filming it, and his dad was like, "Get this part. I love this part."
Oh.
And I was like, "Ugh."
Oh wait, that's
I
major.
love it.
Yeah.
So there are little boys that are
Being
homosexuals
celebrated.
being celebrated
Yeah.
in the world somewhere.
That's what we need.
That's what we need.
I know. And that was he was just so true to himself.
Yeah.
Everybody better be jumping.
I know.
Monsters.
Well, this podcast I'm dedicating to him.
Yes, straight up. Straight up. If you're listening.
If you're listening,
surely
he'll
he'll be my next guest.
He must. Oh yeah, he'd be an iconic guest.
Yes.
But
Well-
yeah, Coloma was such a fun weekend.
Oh my God, it was the
that's where
best.
I think that's where we met we met at the St.
Yeah.
Patrick's Day party briefly.
True.
But that was also a situation where I was coming from work and everyone was powerfully intoxicated.
Myself included.
And I was just like, I don't think I can be here for very long.
Yeah, I mean, it's overwhelming for sure.
It was a lot.
Especially when you come into a situation and you're the one who either has to catch up or leave. Like, those are your options.
Yeah. And it was the catch-up situation
Yeah.
for me. And I wasn't really interested in getting caught up. I was interested in going home.
No, right. Sometimes you have to pick your battles.
You have to pick your battles. And, that's like, I used to work in corporate America and have like the 9-to-5 grind.
Right.
And it was so much easier to be able to just like
Oh, for
be
sure.
drunk on a schedule with my friends.
So
and now I'm
true.
doing something different.
Yeah.
And I'm working 2 part-time jobs, and we were talking about it earlier. My schedule is just like kind of beholden to some person putting numbers into a screen that ends up on my screen saying,
Yeah.
you work here now.
No, that sucks. I think that that's something that I definitely take for granted about having a 9-to-5.
Yeah.
Because it is some like I just know, I work Monday through Friday. It's a set in stone schedule. It also aligns with the most of my friends, not everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And then my weekends are freed up, which you can't necessarily say the same.
I can't say the same.
I know.
But, every day is a journey. And
Completely.
every day is a school day.
What
And
did
I
you go to school for initially?
Communication.
Okay, classic, same. No, like
Which is
literally
like-
same.
I love to say it's undecided for life.
Yeah,
You know?
that's so true.
Yeah. I classically worked in customer support right out of college.
Okay, don't
which
we
is
all?
the natural first job of a communication major.
Right.
Um,
It's like that or like logistics.
yeah,
Yeah.
well, the logistics people they get a lot more money from the job.
So true.
As customer support people, we're grinding.
No, right.
You know what I mean? We have something that they don't have, and that's chutzpah. But I was doing customer support. Then I kind of fell into food styling and food photography at the company I worked at, which was a meal kit subscription. Which
Okay.
I
Like
won't-
one of
I
the big
won't-
ones, a
I
HelloFresh.
won't name on the pod.
Okay.
Yeah, you can look it up. It's the one based in Chicago.
Okay.
It rhymes with schmom schmef.
Okay, got it. Locked in.
But yeah, I worked for them for a while, and then I got kind of tired of doing the same thing every day. It was like wanting to, I was in my Saturn return moment.
Classic.
And figuring, and I was
Hey,
like,
we've all been there.
and I was like, let me blow up my life a little bit.
Yeah.
And then I moved to Ireland for a couple months to do culinary school.
Okay, that's right.
At a place called Ballymaloo, which was dope. Loved it so much.
Ballymaloe.
Ballymaloe.
Oh
It
my
sounds
gosh!
fake. It's
Literally,
real.
it kind of sounds like maybe something you would name a whale. Does
Yeah.
that make sense?
Yeah, for sure. I get. Yeah. Heard. Got that.
Anyway.
Yeah. No, totally. So whale school was great, and so it was basically like a culinary school on a farm in outside of Cork, which is on
How
the
did
southern
you
coast.
even find that place?
Through an old coworker of mine who's also a friend. She went there, and I was kind of like looking to go to culinary school, because I wanted to do that, but I didn't want to go to something like super rigorous and like waking up and every morning and,
For sure.
and just like being yelled at.
I've watched The Bear.
You watch The Bear. We get it. We all get it.
Really.
But yeah, I didn't want something that regimented, and I wanted something different, and she recommended that. And I went on a wait list because I had a really long wait list to get into it. And then it kind of happened really fast. I think it was like July 2023. They were like, we have a spot open for September.
Oh, whoa.
You have to let us know by tomorrow if you want it.
That is crazy.
And I was like, okay, I'll take it. And then I was like, I guess
Wow.
I'm quitting my job and moving to Ireland.
That's fucking
And
awesome.
I didn't really consult anybody. I just was kind of like, I'm being selfish right now and I'm doing it for me.
100%. I mean, there are so few times in our lives where we'll have as few responsibilities as we do now, where you can just pick up and move across the country if you want to,
For
across
sure.
the globe.
Yeah. And it was like super scary, but like I studied abroad in college. I would never talk about it though.
Yeah, yeah, like it's tacky.
I would never bring that up. But like I knew I could move somewhere and make friends, but it's like, it's a specific challenge when you're in your late 20s and you're like,
Oh, for sure.
you have to make new friends now.
As an adult.
As an adult.
Yeah.
You don't know these people.
Yeah.
So it's like really scary, but I did it and I'm proud of myself for doing it. And
Would you say that most of the people in your culinary school were around your age or big range?
it was a really big range actually. There was people there was a lot of Brits in the program. 'Cause
Okay.
It's close to Ireland.
Makes sense.
And a lot of them were like, a lot of the Brits were like 18-year-olds straight out of high school or secondary school, right out of their GCSEs, if you're nasty. And so there's a lot of 18-year-olds, and I'd say, I don't know, like 10 of them. And then the rest were from then on up to like, I think the oldest member we had was like 65 years old.
Oh, wow.
And she was
I
just
love
like,
that.
yeah, she was like, I'm retired and I want to do something fun. So
That's fucking sick.
yeah, shout out. I think her name was
Straight up.
Siobhan.
Let's go, Siobhan.
Let's go shout out Siobhan. But
No,
also
that's
one of
what's
my
up.
friends, that was like the other cool part about it. It's like I got to make friends out of my age demographic.
Yeah.
Like there's a woman who is also from Chicago that went there, whose name is Mary Claire. Shout out Mary Claire.
Let's go, ladies.
And I believe she's in her 50s, somewhere in that neighborhood. I'm sorry if you're in your 40s. I'm pretty confident she's in her 50s. But like we became friends, and it was like, it's interesting to have adult friends that aren't.
Totally. Intergenerational friendships. Yeah.
Yeah, it rocks. And why not?
I know.
We're all adults. We're all living out here.
For sure. And honestly, so much wisdom to be passed down.
For sure.
Yeah.
Exactly.
No, I love that. I think good on you. Were you like already into cooking, or how did you?
Yeah, my family we've always been like good home cooks. My parents, my dad was in the food industry as well. So it's always been kind of like part of my life. And to be honest, I didn't like see it as a career point for me. It's just something like I liked doing. And then there's actually like an Ina Garten quote from her memoir.
Queen.
I'm gonna butcher it, but it's like because she was working for the government. She was, I don't know if you know this, some deep
some
Ina
lore.
some deep Ina lore. She was working for the government.
Okay.
And pretty high up. She was like working at the Pentagon. And
Oh, this is ringing a bell.
yeah, and then her husband, Jeffrey, and her were like, okay, let's go to the Hamptons. And there was this store called the Barefoot Contessa, and she bought it because she was just like, I want something to do while I'm here because I don't have anything else to do because my husband is at war or something. I don't know.
Right,
Men
duh.
used to
Aren't
go
they
to
all?
war. Men used to fight wars, damn it. But then she said like, I found out that I love making food and I want to make money doing that and I want to make it my whole life.
Fuck yes.
And I've kind of like found that too. And like, I
Yeah.
love making food and I like making it my life, and I like doing other things too.
I mean, of course.
We all have like a variety of things we like to do, but
we
if I can,
multitudes.
we contain multitudes. But if I have the opportunity to like make food and make a living doing that,
no, that's
sick.
awesome.
Yeah.
Would it ever be a dream of yours to like open your own restaurant?
No.
Okay, totally. Okay, totally.
I do not want to do that. I work at a restaurant right now, and I'm really grateful for the experience, but it's not something I want to do full time.
Yeah.
And any chef you meet on the street, you should bow before them.
No, totally.
They are doing such hard work. I will say the restaurant I work at right now, it is the hardest work I've ever done in my life.
Yeah.
And I'm getting paid the least I've ever been paid in my life.
For sure.
But it's like a cool experience.
Yeah.
It's a good thing to do temporary.
Yeah.
And I'm happy for the experience because I'd never worked back of house before.
Mm-hmm.
But my lord, it's a grind.
Oh my God, yeah. I mean, I am not a service industry girl, and I remember the first couple of jobs that I had, because of course, naturally, high school, college, like those are the things that you gravitate towards.
Mm-hmm.
I have never in my life had a job more stressful than working at a restaurant.
Yeah.
And I'm front of house.
It's tough shit. It's nuts. Yeah. And the front of house is where all the drama is.
Totally.
Everyone hates each other up there.
No, literally. Why is it always so messy?
I don't know. The back of house, like, we're all very chill. We like mind our P's and Q's. And then I'm like, where my station is, I'm like the salad guy. So I'm like right by where the front of house people congregate.
Totally.
And they all talk shit to me. I'm getting all the gossip, baby. So
Okay,
you
well,
just
that's
you just come on by my station and I'll give you the tea.
Yes.
I'll tell you who's hating who, who's fucking who.
Oh my God, yeah.
And everything in between.
I think that's the other crazy thing about restaurants is everybody's having sex with each other.
Everyone's fucking.
Yeah.
Except the back of house where y'all smell bad, so no one's touching us.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. You guys are working hard.
We're working hard. We're building up a sweat.
That's always why I think that did you ever watch Vanderpump Rules?
Of course.
Of course. I think that is the perfect premise for a reality TV show.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Perfect.
It's nuts.
Especially the early days. That show was chef's kiss.
Yeah.
One of my favorites.
I visited LA a couple years ago with two of my friends. And we did go to serve. We had to.
I've been.
And have you been?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. We didn't eat there. We just had drinks. We had Lisa's rosé.
Classic.
Tasted like turpentine.
Absolutely.
Could rip paint off the walls.
Uh-huh.
And I think I had the pink drink.
Yeah.
Which instantly gave me a hangover.
No, like on site.
It was rough.
Yeah.
It was really rough.
Well, the time that I went, it wasn't even actually my idea. I think it was my old coworkers. We were there for a work trip.
Mm-hmm.
And we were in LA, like visiting a client, and my old coworker, shout out Brandon.
Shout out.
Was like, I think that we need to go to Sir.
You must.
And
It's
I was
important.
like, yeah, sexy, unique restaurant. Let's
a
hit
sexy,
it.
unique restaurant.
And we went and we got like a really expensive bottle of champagne. We resold our client, so we got to celebrate that night.
Oh, yay.
And
I'm
so
so happy for you. I'm so proud of you.
Thank you. And so we got like a really expensive bottle of champagne. That was actually decent. And then all of the food was complete ass.
Yeah.
So bad.
100%.
It was so
Also,
bad.
the bathroom in there, I'll say, was disgusting.
No, totally.
It was rough. And we went to like maybe the worst gay bar in the world after it.
No.
And the bathroom was like delightful there.
Of course.
I was like, what? Lisa, you need to get these people on their hands and knees.
Straight up.
With a toothbrush, getting this grout out of this tile.
100%. I know. And it is so funny because I feel like her restaurants they are like for sure tacky.
Yeah.
And so I feel like they have like that vibe, but I'm like, but she herself is so upscale.
Yeah.
So it's so fascinating to me.
She's a duchess.
I know. I love that for her.
Yeah. My word.
I honestly, it was because apparently if you pay a little extra, you can sit in the areas where they're filming.
Oh, I was wondering that because I assumed like, because it was also dead. It was, we went on a Saturday night at 10 p.m. and there was nobody there.
Right, that's crazy.
And I was like, they must be like, when they film in here, they must pay people to come in.
Yeah.
They have to like cast like extras and just say like, come on in.
Literally.
And they were playing Vanderpump Rules on Peacock on the screen.
Way.
And they didn't even have ad free. It was crazy.
That's actually
there was like
insane.
Zyrtec ads interstitial in between
Oh
scenes
God.
of Stassi throwing a glass of wine at somebody.
Wait, that's actually nuts.
It was crazy.
Oh my God.
I was like, NBC Universal can't like comp your Peacock
They can't
pass?
toss you one.
Jeez Louise.
Lisa.
We also did see DJ James Kennedy.
Okay.
He wasn't there, but he was walking on the street as we were walking away. So I think he was going there.
Oh, crazy.
Maybe picking up his paycheck or something. I don't know.
Right.
But also we hate him now because he is an abuser.
I know. Well, now, ever since Tom Sandoval had his little sort of comeback on the Traitors this year, I am sort of fascinated by his social arc of how he feels like that really did something for his public image.
Yeah, he is delusional in a way that
it's really amazing.
I kind of strive to be. Yeah. I mean, honestly, it's pretty harmless.
So true.
Apart from ruining Ariana's life.
Yeah.
But she's doing great now too.
No, so she's doing awesome.
I think at the end of the day, that was great television. And to that I say thank you, Tom Sandoval.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely. I know. I have a friend who recently saw him. I don't remember where, maybe in Minneapolis, just at one of his sort of musical
one of his events.
Yeah. He's doing sweaty guy.
Yeah, I get that. Well, yeah, did you watch Traitors this season?
Yeah.
There was a couple episodes where he was just
oh my God,
huge pit stains.
I think that he was detoxing in real time from whatever drug he's on.
Yeah, maybe we need to maybe that's the next round of treatment for addicts is
100%.
sending them into the Traitor's Castle.
Yeah. Hey, I
making
think
them
that
play
would clean
fucked
me
up
right
little
up.
games with Alan Cumming.
100%. That was the first of the series I had watched.
It's very fun.
It's so good.
Yeah,
I am obsessed. It does I find it very stressful.
Yeah. I was watching me and two of my friends, we went to a viewing party
fun.
a couple times this past season at Pizza Lobo in Andersonville.
Okay, love.
And it ran by my friend Derek. Shout out Derek. And yeah, it was so fun. It was watching football. It was crazy. Mm-hmm. And I'm not a sports person, but that's what
Same.
I was this is what it feels like.
No, right.
I'm invested. I'm here.
I'm rooting for somebody.
Yeah. It rocked.
Yeah.
I loved it.
No, and it is. It's high stakes.
It's high stakes.
Very intense.
It's very intense. It's very campy, very dramatic.
100%.
I loved it.
I love all the outfits. I'm very curious. Do you think that is someone styling them, or are they bringing clothes from home?
I think they must be styled.
Okay, because they're pulling out some looks.
They're pulling out looks and just putting those into suitcases would probably destroy some of them.
100%. I mean, some of Bob the drag queen's outfits.
That hat that Bob the drag queen came in.
100%.
That was shipped in. That was not. He didn't put that in his away luggage.
No way. So true.
Yeah.
I know. I don't think that I personally could compete on that show.
Mm-hmm.
I think that would ruin me mentally. However, love to participate from the sidelines.
Yeah, those fucked up little reindeer games.
Yeah.
Woof.
Insane. But it's kind of the perfect reality TV show.
I agree. I think it has it all.
Yeah.
I was gonna list a couple things that it has, and then I panicked.
I understand.
And then I panicked and I said I'm not doing that.
Do you watch a lot of reality TV?
Yes, I do.
Is that your primary?
I watch a lot of Real Housewives. One of my sisters, I have two older sisters. One of them is a big Housewives person, and she kind of held my hand
fostered
throughout. And she said, "Follow me."
Yeah.
So yeah, I watched a lot of that. I watched Jersey Shore growing up.
Of course, classic.
Wasn't allowed to, but did anyways.
No, right. For me, that was always you have that on, and then
you have the return.
The return button
to
would be
the
Disney
news.
Channel. Oh, it's classic.
Yeah, the nightly news. I'm educating myself.
Okay, I can't say that that's what I was doing.
The Wheel of Fortune, something
I'm
like that.
Jersey Shore, but then Hannah Montana.
Yeah.
You know,
absolutely.
Yeah.
No, I was watching Jersey Shore. I was watching. I will say I was kind of peripherally watching Real Housewives growing up, but really had time in 2020 when.
So true.
And I was just I guess I'm gonna watch all of them.
I guess I'll get fully invested.
I guess I'm just gonna watch every single one of these.
Yeah.
And I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. It's fantastic. And a lot of people say, specifically my father, he'll say that it's not intellectual television, and it's kind of brain rot television.
Okay, you're drinking haterade.
And I'm first up, you have a point. Second up, you're gonna tell me that this isn't the same as any sport.
So true.
Here's the thing. I was actually talking to a friend about this yesterday. I have never purchased merch. I've never purchased merch with a Real Housewives name on it and their number on a field, and had to wear that every episode so that that team member might have good luck.
Right.
Oh, forget it.
I know.
The most I've ever spent on a Real Housewife is to see Countess Luann de Lesseps. at her Christmas cabaret.
Okay.
And it was $55 and it
Clean,
was worth every
easy.
penny.
Wait, that's awesome. When was that?
I think it was a year or 1 year or 2 years ago. A while ago.
Oh my God, that's so fun.
It was phenomenal. And everyone there was like, this is the stupidest thing we've ever done. I'm having so much fun.
Yeah.
So it's like, it was community. It was bonding.
Yes.
It was hilarious.
That's so good.
She played
We
the
need more of that.
bongos. She wore a fedora.
No, like we need to bring fedoras back.
Yeah. Well, I disagree with you.
I think that I would smash a fedora in the year of 2025. I think I would look iconic in a fedora.
Can you expand and explain that?
I've been kind of, I feel like all of these trends from like around the High School Musical era are coming back. The little skinny scarves, mini skirts, all the things. I want to be the girl on the piano in my little fedora. That's who I want to be.
Sure. I think, yeah. And you know what? I think that, what was her name in the movie? Kelsey, I think?
Yes.
Kelsey is the role you were born to play.
100%. I'm obsessed with her energy. And honestly, Ryan had fedoras as well. He was breaking
He
up the
did have a
fedora.
lot of fedoras. Yeah.
So perhaps we're doing a hybrid.
I did see a fedora. I was recently visiting my parents and I saw a fedora at their home.
Really?
And it scared me. It frightened me.
Who did it belong to?
I don't know. I think it had like a masculine kind of flair to it.
Right.
But my dad is not a hat guy per se.
Okay.
My mom's more the hat lady. And I think my mom could pull off a fedora. In fact, I think she has. But I'm scared to see my father drift down a fedora route.
No, right. It is troublesome.
It's troublesome.
You got to kind of connect with him and be like, hey, how are you?
It's like when parents, when they go down like a Facebook rabbit hole and you lose them to like the right wing.
100%.
It's that, but just
a fedora. Yeah.
Which, you know, that I'm very grateful that it's just that for me.
Right. It could be so much worse.
It could be so much worse.
No, but it is still scary. You do have to keep an eye on your loved ones.
Yeah, I might lose my father to fedora.
Which we can't risk that. I know my dad has become a hat guy in his older years. He is bald.
Okay.
So I feel like that sometimes lends itself to
it's protection from the sun.
Yeah. Right.
So
true. It's utilitarian.
It's utilitarian.
I recently stepped into the foray of hat wearing. I have a small head.
Okay.
And they tend to look pretty bad on me.
Okay.
And that's something that I just kind of, I had written off hats for a really long time, especially like baseball caps.
Sure.
Wasn't something I could pull off. And I would say like a couple years ago, I decided to make a big girl purchase and I got like a, kind of like one of those straw, more beachy cowgirl hats.
Like a fun sun hat kind of deal. Love.
So I bought one of those, wore it to the DR, of course.
Of course.
Loved it, never took it off. I was like, this is who I am now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
And
love
then
that.
when I got back here, I was like, well, you can't, it's not, it's winter, it's February. So you can't really go around wearing like a straw hat everywhere. And then I did it was like a full year later, Halloween, I was Alice Cullen from the infamous baseball scene from Twilight.
Yes, of course. Yes, of course.
And of course, she wears a baseball cap.
Yeah.
And so I ordered the exact same one. I found it on Depop and I got it. And I have since been wearing it around quite a bit because it's the first baseball cap that has ever looked decent on my head. So now I think I might be a hat girl.
I think you might be a hat girl now.
So I'm going to explore that.
Yeah, for sure.
So next step is obviously fedora.
Yeah, I think that's the next step. On
Natural progression.
Twilight baseball scene, our friend Lauren, she had a Twilight themed birthday party a couple years ago.
Oh my God, fun.
And she assigned us all characters to be.
Of course.
And I was Jasper in the baseball scene.
Okay, classic.
And I also learned, because I hadn't watched the films, and I was like, okay, I'll watch like, this was also around, it was kind of when we weren't supposed to be doing parties, but we were doing them anyway.
Yeah, totally. Totally.
So I had a lot of time on my hands, and I was like, okay, I'm going to watch all the Twilight movies to prep for this party.
You're so good at doing your homework.
I do my homework. I listened to several episodes of the podcast that we're coming on today. Yeah, so I watched all the films, and I learned that Jasper was a Confederate soldier.
Right.
What the hell?
Yeah, it is kind of a really bad storyline for sure.
I was like, why was I cast as this?
No,
First
totally.
of all, I was pissed.
It doesn't align with your values.
It didn't align with my values, but I had already purchased the wig, so we had to make it happen.
I know. Okay. See, James was Jasper. He was my counterpart in the costume, of course, and I couldn't get him to get a wig. You have to get the wig.
You have to get the wig. You could tell me. I have a wig.
He has a blonde bob. Like, you got to get a fucking wig.
Yeah. Literally next time you're at a Twilight themed function, give me a ring. I got the stuff.
Perfect. Now I know
I got you on lock. You know a guy.
It was actually funny because I feel like there are so many stories now since you've done your homework that I like say, and you're like, yeah, I know.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I actually heard you say that already.
You were like, I just came back from the Dominican Republic. And I was like, I actually know that. I know
You're
that.
familiar with all my best material.
Yeah. Yeah. Sorry. Try again. Come up with something new for once.
Yeah, seriously. All my best bits.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I love knowing that you are also a comedy person.
Yes.
Because honestly, it's the best to spend time with other funny people. I mean, name something
so good
better.
to laugh.
And you started improv.
Mm-hmm.
Then you went stand up.
Yeah.
Is that something that you want to do and continue to pursue in terms of like hosting shows? Would you ever like bop around?
I host a show right now. Mm-hmm. If I can plug it, it's called Laughs at Lakeview. Actually, it's not called that anymore because we changed bars, but it's still okay. So we used to be at a bar called Lakeview Tap Room, which is why it was called Laughs at Lakeview. We're now at Uptown Tap Room, but we like the IP of L at L.
Absolutely.
So we're holding on to that for now, but subject to change.
I respect that.
Yeah, but we're at Uptown Tap Room the first and third Thursday of every month. We have new comedians on every single show, so it's super duper fun, and I love hosting that. And I get like that question of like, do you want to pursue comedy as like a lucrative full-time thing a lot? And I think that it's something that I love doing just for the joy of doing it.
Totally.
Where if I'd put pressure on myself to be like, okay, this is your career
100%.
now, it might hurt that for me.
Yeah.
So, and also like, I'm 28. I'm okay. I have time.
Yeah.
And
so true.
I always like tell myself that, and like, comparison is a thief of joy and all that. So I'm like, just take your time, enjoy what you do.
Yeah.
And I like doing it, so I'm gonna stay there.
Yeah. No, I respect that. I feel similarly. Sometimes I have a couple of people who have come up to me and think that I podcast full time. And I'm like, that is so sweet. But this actually, I pay to do this.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
I sink money into this hobby.
Yeah.
Not the other way around.
Yeah. When I break even doing comedy, it's a good night.
You know 100%. No, literally.
I'm like, wow, I'm making it.
Of.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I totally understand that. I think that's sometimes better because then it stays fun.
It stays fun, and that's kind of the vibe I'm looking for right now. And the people I host it with are good friends of mine. We like to make each other laugh.
100%.
And then I still do improv sometime with some of my friends, and we just kind of like pop up here and there whenever. Mm-hmm. We don't really have like a scheduled show, but sometimes we'll like open for another team or something like that.
Yeah.
And it's just good to, because improv, you guys, it's literally just playing pretend.
So true.
That's all it is.
So true.
So we just go up and play pretend and hope it's silly.
No,
and if it's
awesome
not,
to never grow up.
If it's not, you didn't pay for this show. Yeah. Like, it's literally fine.
So true. Yeah, no, I love that. Improv used to be very scary to me.
Yeah.
And I never really participated. Like I didn't do improv in college or anything. But the idea of it, I think it was actually on Caleb Huron's podcast where he was like, I think everyone should do improv, like whether you want to pursue comedy or not. Like it's just a good conversational thought exercise.
And my dad, he's 65, 67, somewhere in that neighborhood. And he took an improv class for the first time this past year. Just like a wreck. And he lives in Salt Lake City, Utah.
Right.
He's not Mormon. They just like to ski. Yeah, he was like, I had the most fun ever. It was so stupid. But
I love that.
And he was like, we just played like stupid little games all day. And after
literally,
like 2 hours, I went home and I felt so good.
That's awesome.
And it's just like, I don't know.
Yeah.
You should do more fun things.
100%.
I also took a guitar class last year, and I took it for a while. And then I paused just because like I wanted a break. But anyways, I really love doing it, and I'm not good at guitar, you guys.
Totally.
But it's fun.
I think
it's
that's
like
the
something
thing.
New.
It's not like everything you pursue you have to be the best at.
Right.
I also feel like we're so, especially, I don't know, like in today's day and age, and as Americans, like everyone's like, you got to commodify your hobbies.
Right.
And it's like, you really don't.
No,
in fact,
don't.
you don't even have to be good at something. Like you can just do it because it's fun.
100%.
I do think I took guitar lessons for a while.
Yeah, it's fun.
I would love to learn an instrument and actually be good at it just for the sake of
sure.
That's such a cool thing to be able to do. But perhaps I'll have to maybe it wasn't going to be guitar.
Maybe it's not guitar. Maybe it's something else. We'll find it together.
Yes. No, and I'm big on like I know so many people here that have taken a class, like an adult class, just like an art class, a sewing class, could be an instrument, could be a cooking class, like
good,
just like
good
doing
town for
something.
classes.
Yeah. No, there's so much here.
There's so much to do
100%.
in this metropolitan area.
And so many people who want to teach you how to do something.
100%.
Yeah.
I love that.
Well, I think stand-up sounds way scarier. Is stand-up like, do you get nervous?
I will say I don't get nervous at the show that I host because I know the space really well and I feel like it's my thing.
Yeah.
So I'm like,
that's awesome.
Come and enjoy. And also I like try a lot of new stuff there. So sometimes it doesn't work and that's like cool too.
Safe space.
Yeah, it's a safe space. And a lot of people do, for comedians, like to workshop material, they'll go to open mics and they'll try new stuff.
Yeah.
And I have the very great fortune to like be able to do that in my own house and like be able to do it like in front of my own people, which is like I love. But I am nervous going to open mics because that's where like people don't know you and it's usually other comedians there.
So
and
true. It's everybody working on their stuff.
Yeah. And they're gonna be the most brutal audience because like just by nature because they see it all. So
I know we went to one of like I think it was Grace's open mics. This is forever ago, like right when we first moved here. And I think that James and I were the only two people in the room who weren't comedians who didn't also get up on the stage.
Right. Yeah, it's spooky.
Yeah.
And I get a little nervous doing like other showcases that I've never been to before.
Sure.
But you know, you're nervous when you care about something.
Of course.
So
yeah, that just means you're into it.
Yeah.
You're invested.
You're invested.
You care.
Speaking of my guitar class, we had like a little recital at the end of our term.
Oh,
and
I
it was
that.
Like it was like a group class. So we weren't even like playing by ourselves. But I was like really nervous.
Totally.
We were playing we played Make You Feel My Love by Bob Dylan.
Love.
Topical. Sad song, but beautiful song. Is that by Bob Dylan? I think it is.
I think so.
I'm thinking,
Make you feel my love. Now I don't know.
I know Adele sings a version of it.
So true.
Yeah, shout out to both Adele and Bob Dylan.
Yes.
But no, and I was like really freaking nervous. And I was like, what am I nervous for? This is nothing.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, but I like it.
Yeah.
So hooray.
No, that's what's up. Do you play ever still?
I sometimes will like tinker at my home if I'm like, if I catch myself watching too much TV and I'm like, I need a different activity to do.
I need to do something with my hands.
I need to make something and
where there's not a screen.
Yeah. I need a lack of blue light for
100%. I have my guitar here and I don't think I've touched it.
Should we whip it out? Let's whip it out.
Play a little something.
Let's play a little ditty. I'll teach you Make You Feel My Love by Bob Dylan.
And then we can have a recital.
Yay.
We'll invite our friends over.
Perfect. Sounds good.
No, I think it's awesome to just like try your hand at something new.
Yeah. I also like love musical friends too and being able to see them do cool shit.
Oh, it's same.
Like my friend Lauren is like a fantastic singer and whenever she sings, and she doesn't sing very often.
I'm so jealous of that.
I'm like, you're so talented.
Yeah.
And also Grace, our friend Grace, is also incredible. She had a show recently.
I know. I'm sad that I missed it. It was while we were in DR.
But
I think her next one's in
August. So talented. So fun to watch that. And like, I don't know, I could name my friend Austin. He does musical theater and he was my roommate in college and roommate's one of my best friends. And he was in a production of The Little Mermaid at Drury Lane Theater, which is like a pretty reputable like regional theater. And I was like, oh, that's so cool. And he was the understudy for Sebastian the Crab.
Oh my God, iconic.
And he had like a night where he was going on, so I went to go see it. And
did he do the Jamaican accent?
He did the Jamaican accent, and he is a black man. He's allowed to do it.
Okay. That's good.
But also, let's talk about why is Sebastian the only Jamaican character in The Little Mermaid?
I know.
What's that?
No,
and
truly.
Are two white people the people to be discussing that? Probably not. But I'm raising a red flag on that.
Well, I'm like, okay, of course, the only black man that you're gonna put in the whole thing is a crab. Yeah. So true.
Yeah. Oh my God.
I know.
It works for the family.
Right.
Jeez Louise. Anyways, but Austin played Sebastian in The Little Mermaid, and he sang Under the Sea. And I was weeping at the end of it. And I was like, I'm so proud of my friend.
No, totally. I think my favorite part about moving to Chicago is everyone I've met has like some sort of creative outlet like
Yeah.
that. I know so many talented people.
I know, it's so fun to like watch people's talents too. And I think you kind of get there in your late 20s, because I feel like when I was young in my 20s and I was like doing stand-up and improv, I was like, oh, I gotta be the best. I gotta be better than this person. And now I can kind of like sit back and, oh, ambulance is going by.
You guys, we're recording a podcast.
We're recording a podcast.
Seriously.
Can you quiet down? Sorry. But no, now like in our late 20s, coming on 30s, I'm like,
yeah,
I'm more comfortable when people are good at stuff that like may be a different flavor than what I can bring.
Totally.
And that's great.
Less competitive. I also just feel like I've stepped more into my own. I know what I like.
Mhm.
I know what I personally am good at and what I enjoy doing and spending my time on.
Yes.
I think it's also fun to, like, I feel like now at the big age of 28,
Mhm.
there's just so...
When's your birthday?
July 23rd.
I'm June 14th. We're pretty close
Oh
together.
my God, we
Oh
are.
my God.
Wait,
Cancer?
what are you?
Or you're a Leo?
I'm a Leo. I'm a cuspy though.
You're a cuspy. I'm a Gemini.
I think, when does it start? It starts like the 21st.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Cool.
Love it.
Sorry, I interrupted. Keep going.
I was just going to say, like, at the big age of 28, I think, you know, I'm so much less embarrassed to try things.
Yeah.
And like see if I like it or if I'm any good at it.
Yeah.
Which is great.
I love
so
that.
It's so awesome to be way less embarrassed.
Yeah.
And think less about what other people might be thinking about you.
100%.
Yes.
Love that.
Okay, well, let's get into your good, bad, ugly.
Okay, great. Okay, so my good this week, speaking of Adele, is divorce albums.
Okay, yes.
I have never been divorced, actually. I'm
Me
actually
neither.
in a
What are the
relationship
odds?
right now. I do have a boyfriend of
Okay.
going on 4 years.
And not getting divorced.
And we're not getting
anytime soon.
divorced.
Yeah.
But I'm talking Adele's 30 album.
Completely.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
I'm talking Casey Musgrave's Starcross album.
Completely.
And I'm
Couldn't agree more.
talking, I don't know, this one's a little bit of a deeper cut. But if you haven't heard of it, I recommend Kelsey Ballerini's Rolling Up the Welcome
Okay.
Mat EP.
We've been listening to her a little bit more in the home,
Okay.
but I did not know it was a divorce album.
I'm gonna put you on the Rolling Up the Welcome Mat EP.
Okay.
It is
EP.
It is a 15-minute little listen. It's real short. It's like 5
Okay.
songs. And she eviscerates her ex-husband in it.
Just how I like it.
It is crazy because they were both country stars. His name was something, doesn't matter. We're not even gonna give him the press. We're not even gonna give him the streams.
Honestly, no screen time.
But he wrote this song that was like I would have searched the whole world over for you, but when was it over for you? So it's like double entendre there.
Okay, I see.
And then she kind of clapped back at it and was
Ooh.
like, and she said the first opening song, she's like, I think that this is when it's over for me. And then in one of her songs towards the end, she's it's the song Blindsided, and she says, you would have searched the whole world over? Yeah, sure. Okay.
Okay, iconic. Ate him up, spit him out.
Ate him out, spit him out, shoot him, and threw him to the ground.
Oh my God, that's awesome. There's also something so poetic about when two like artistic people are fighting with each other through
Yeah.
their art.
Yeah.
I love that.
And one wins.
100%. Right. We're on
Yeah,
her side.
We're on her side. But also like the Casey Musgrave, and I forget her ex-husband.
I know, same.
But I like his music.
Yeah.
I forget. This could have.
We're on the girls' side.
We're on the
Team
girl
girls.
side. Sorry, we're on the girl side. But that divorce album was like, I loved that one because it was like, it was so tender and just
Yeah.
like, I still love him, but it's not working.
Yeah.
And it's just like,
No.
it's heartbreaking.
100%.
It's just like, I don't know. I kind of like, I've been in this relationship for a while where sometimes I'm like, I kind of want to feel heartbreak a little bit.
Yeah, should we split up for a second just to feel
Yeah,
something?
let's break up with our partners. Sorry, James.
No, I completely understand that. And I also feel like being sad does let you connect with sad songs in a way
Yeah.
that you honestly can't otherwise.
Yeah.
Like I can appreciate a divorce album, but I will never be able to like really sit in that feeling until I myself am divorced.
100%. Yeah, which I hope to be one day.
Yes, I mean,
As we every
certainly-
little girl's dream
it's just to get
is
a
to
divorce.
get divorced.
Certainly, yeah, a good notch in the story.
Hmm.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and that's why I'm also a big Taylor Swift fan. And
Totally.
her Red album was the first album that like I drove to in a car.
Oh my God, I know. I can picture it now.
I can picture it like, oh my God, just behind the wheel listening to Red, forget it.
No, I'm like, there are like for some reason 8 girls in the car. It's only a 5-seater, but we've got 8 in there.
Yeah, we're
all
packed
singing
in.
At the top
oh my
of our
God,
lungs.
we're sardines in there, baby. Yeah. But that I think that kind of like started my love for breakup content a little bit. And my little fascination.
Mine honestly was probably Potential Breakup song. I'm a huge Allie and AJ fan.
Fantastic choice. That's one of my go-to karaoke songs. I have a little list. So good. That's one of the ones.
No, see, I need to start a list.
Everyone knows it.
Yeah, it's a crowd fave.
That's your number one on there because everyone knows it. So you don't have to like be that good at it.
Right.
And it's also a lot of talk. It's a lot of like monotone talking as well.
Completely.
Which works.
I know, I love those girls. Well, they actually, have you listened to any of their newer stuff?
Yeah, I like their newer stuff.
It's like definitely a little more indie, a little more chill, but it's so good. And they have some kind of like pre-divorce songs where she basically was like, I don't want to be your ex-wife. And it's like, that hits so good.
It's so good.
Okay, no, I love that as a good because I completely agree.
Yeah, it's a little bit sad, but it's good.
We need more ladies to get divorced.
It's good to be sad sometimes. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Experience your range of emotion.
Get divorced for your art, guys.
Get divorced for art for once.
For once. Okay, well, which of those, or if it's a different one off of your list, what's like number 1 divorce album of all time to you?
Whew, that's a really good question.
Or breakup album.
I'm gonna go back to it. Rolling Up the Welcome Mat. I've been listening to it a lot recently.
The EP.
And I think it's kind of this like kind of gloomy spring weather that we're having. It's also like fantastic for it.
Totally.
And like walking around. I walk around a lot. I'm not going anywhere.
Awesome.
I'm just walking around.
Totally. No, that's fucking sick.
So that's like a great little walking album. And then like
I should walk around more.
You should walk around more. I think everyone should.
No, like honestly, yeah.
Yeah. Which also that kind of brings me into my bad.
Okay.
If we want to transition into it. My bad is cars.
Completely.
Cars in total. And I actually have I have a story to share.
Okay, I can't wait to dive in.
So this happened about a year ago. I was actually, when did Foxtrot close down? Because that matters.
Okay.
It was like, I guess maybe a year and a half ago now.
Yeah. That sounds like the correct timeline.
Because on Southport Avenue, where I used to live, I was walking and I was crossing the street and there was this big red pickup truck and it was barreling towards me.
Totally.
And I was like, what the fuck? And then I was like, I was kind of feeling like a little baddie that day.
Of course.
So I just went like, fuck you. And then I felt like really good about it because he was like, and I was like, jerk
100%.
off, about to hit me with his car. And then I'm walking, and wouldn't you know, that red pickup truck goes around the block.
No.
And finds me. And I'm like, oh no. I was
this isn't supposed to happen.
I was like, oh no, this isn't correct. And so then there's a Foxtrot right there. It's busy during lunch hour. So I'm like, perfect. Let's get witnesses up in here. So I run into Foxtrot and I'm just like minding my business. I'm like literally looking at like the produce. I'm like, what do I want for lunch? And then he walks in and he's like,
he came into the store?
Hey. And he comes up to me and he said, I wasn't trying to hit you with my car. My car's just really loud. He said that to me, just like yelling at me. And I was like, I don't remember what I said. I kind of blacked out, but I think I said something to the degree of like, I don't want to do this or something like
that. Interaction was over when I flipped you off.
Yeah. I was like, and you better believe that I can't like put my money where my mouth is in this situation.
100%.
I'm all bark no bite, bitch.
No, right. This is it. You got the scary part.
You win. I was like, I don't want to do this. Yeah. You win. You have the car. You could have killed me. Bye.
Totally.
And then he leaves and he storms out and he says, fuck you for giving me your middle finger or something like that. I blacked out. I don't really remember. And then I was just like, everyone saw this and this lady was like, are you okay? And I was like, yeah, I'm fine. And then I was like, I think I just like sat down with nothing for a little bit.
Yeah, sometimes you just need to take a breather.
I was like, I'm just gonna sit
after an interaction like that.
I'm just gonna actually sit.
Yeah. Oh my god.
But for that reason, I think cars should be abolished.
No, I completely understand. When I first moved here, I think that coming out of COVID already, I was like I think James and I had developed like a really bad codependency, if I'm being 100% honest.
Yeah,
and when I had to like first start going on the train and doing my little commute downtown to work, I was like, this is so fucking stressful. I'm not a big city girl. I'm not cut out for this life.
Yeah.
And I remember it was in my very first day at the office, but it was in the first week. And I was leaving my office. I was working out of the WeWork, like right down. It was on State Street.
Sure.
Like we're talking River North, busy.
Yeah.
Lots of eyewitnesses. And I was crossing the street. I had the right of way and I'm in the crosswalk. And I think it was an Uber driver was just turning, nothing crazy, not going like very fast, hits me with his car.
Oh my God, you've been hit by a car?
And I was just myself, like, I am on foot.
You don't have your armor with you?
Yes. And so I literally get hit by this car. My wallet goes flying. And in a similar fashion, I kind of black out. And the driver, of course, immediately rolls down his window and he's like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. Like, whatever.
Fuck you. Sorry. You hit me with your car.
I know. And then I like grab my wallet and he's like, are you okay? And I remember turning around and being like, okay, think of something sassy to say.
Yeah. Get a comeback going right now.
I turn around and I just go, yes, thanks for asking. I was like, yeah, you got his ass.
Got him. Got him.
And then similarly,
and he passed away. He died just then.
On site.
On site. He just went.
Yeah, that's it for me. And in a similar fashion, like the second I got across the street, there was like a woman being like, oh my God, are you okay? And, at that point, I'm kind of all flustered. And I was like, yes, I'm fine. And then I specifically remember getting to like another street block. And of course, nobody on this block knows that I was just hit by a car.
No one cares.
And I was like, this is what city living is all about.
Right.
Yes.
You're onto that. You're onto something there. Because no one knew what happened in that foxtrot. This man just came to yell at me.
Of course.
And thank God for that lady that was standing next to me for like being my comfort. Yeah, for checking in. Yeah. But no, I think I like actually called my boyfriend immediately after it happened and I was like, this just happened. I'm fine. And I don't think I need you to do anything, but I just needed someone to hear it.
No, okay, that's actually hilarious because I did the exact same thing. I called James.
Yeah.
And I specifically remember him being kind of a little bit distracted during the phone call.
Yeah.
And he was just like, oh, well, I'm so glad you're okay. Immediately changes the subject. And I was like...
And you're like, are you kidding me?
I know. And I was like, okay, he's trying to distract me.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of going along with it. And then I had to get on the train because, of course, I'm going home. Had to hang up or whatever. I texted my coworker who I had left the office with. And I was like, haha, got hit by a car. And, of course, he was like, what the fuck? He immediately calls me. And he love him to death. I provided no context.
Right.
Haha, lol.
Tee-hee-hee.
And then he was like, what the fuck? Are you okay? And I was like, yes, I'm fine. I'm on the train. I'll tell you all about it when I get home.
Yeah.
And then I get off the train. And at this point, I'm kind of like reminiscing on the whole thing. And I'm new to this city. And of course, I have like about a mile walk until I'm actually back to my house. Immediately started crying.
Yeah. No, you're just like emotion just like it hits you.
And then I'm like, okay, what other men in my life can I tell this to? Call my dad.
Yeah.
I'm like, Dad, guess what? I just got hit by a car. And of course, he was like, oh my God, are you okay?
Yeah.
Like taking me a little bit more seriously. So at that point, I'm really sobbing. And by the time that I get home, I hang up on my dad. I get upstairs. And like James is sitting in his room at his desk.
His room.
He's not facing me.
He's in his twin bed in his room.
Literally. Yeah, we keep him in there.
Yeah, right.
And he says something along the lines of like, he calls out like, I'm so glad that you didn't get hit by a car.
And you were like, wait a minute, whoa.
And I was like, what is going on? Yeah. And I'm like, what are you talking about? And he gets up from his seat and he's like, oh my God, you're crying. Like, what's going on? And I was like, I did get hit by a car. And he's like, I thought you said almost.
Oh man.
Yeah. He thought I was talking about a near miss. No. I got trailblazed.
Yeah, you got trailblazed. Your face met the pavement.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I actually barely stumbled, but well,
we can embellish a little bit.
Absolutely.
This is an audio medium. You can tell them whatever you want.
Yeah, that's what life's all about.
Oh my God.
It was crazy though, and ever since then, I'm also team no car.
Yeah,
there are too many of them.
Recently, I was like walking down the street and I walk fast. I'm a homosexual. I walk quickly.
Yeah, you got a little pep in your step.
I have a little pep in my step, a little light in the loafers, as they say. But no, I'm a fast walker, and so much so that like several friends of mine have been like, "You need to slow down."
Okay, I get that too.
I was crossing the street, and this guy like revved his engine because I was like going slow or something, And it ruined my night. I like wanted to cry.
Totally.
I was like, how dare you? I'm
Completely.
crossing the street at a normal pace. In fact, some would say above average.
Absolutely. Well, I think sometimes when you are communicating car to person via honks, engine revs, it's
Yeah.
almost like this is an unfair dynamic. Get out of your car and fucking say it then.
Let's say it.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead. Put your money where your mouth is.
Yeah.
Again, where's the bark to your bite?
Straight up. Like, I'm like, oh, you are feeling all big and entitled because you're in your metal box.
Yeah.
Come
Yeah.
out here.
Yeah. If I had a large metal death machine, I'm sure I could
Completely.
fucking fight you. But
Yeah.
here I am, just a soul.
Well, and I personally, since moving here, have only been behind the wheel a handful of times.
Yeah, I don't like driving.
I hate it. And the less that I do it, the more that my animosity grows.
Right.
We're really making room for that.
Yeah.
I have lots of space for, and I'm scared of it. So every time that I do drive now, I'm like, okay, I completely forgotten what you're supposed to do when you're near a bus. Like, I'm like, there's just no, I'm like,
Yeah.
this is horrible. Why are we trusting everybody to do this all the time?
That's what I'm saying. I totaled a car in college.
Ugh,
And
I did in high school.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Sister. And I'm like, yeah, I shouldn't have been driving.
No, literally.
I don't think I should have been driving. I don't think I'm a very good driver, so I don't like
Same.
doing it. And I was on my way to a Black Friday shift at the Gap factory.
Classic.
And I smashed my car. Everyone was fine, and only my car was. The other two drove away. But I was just like, I don't want to do this anymore.
They
and then
drove away.
the other two, no, they like we did the
oh.
exchange. Everything, but their cars could drive away.
Okay, yes.
Was
it your fault?
It was my fault.
Because so was mine.
It's my
It
fault.
was 100% my fault.
100% my fault. And like, I think you're not supposed to say sorry when like you do something, but I was literally like, sorry, that was me. That was fully me.
Oh, totally.
And then like I went to because I had to go to court, just to like the judge had to be like, okay, you pay this fine, bye. And like I went up to like I had to like say like how do you plead? And I was like, no contest, I'm sorry. And he
Your
was
lawyer
like,
was like, fuck.
he was like, it's okay. You'll just pay this fine and it'll be fine. And I was like, okay, thank God.
Well, because I remember.
There was a whole to do because there was a fire truck had to come, an ambulance had to come.
Mine was the same.
And it was like, no one was hurt. And I mean, I get it, obviously. But I was
Yeah.
like, this is so dramatic.
No, totally. Mine was a situation where I was leaving my high school and I had stayed late to like work on it was like my pottery final or something. Like I'm staying late to spin clay.
You didn't have to tell me that you had a pottery final.
100%. And I specifically remember getting my car. It's dusk.
Yeah.
And
A terrible time to start driving.
100%. And I'm like behind the wheel. This is a new car. I've had it for a mere 15 days.
Sure.
And my parents bought me this used car. I named her Sasha Fierce, of course.
Yeah.
And
man.
I was driving and I could tell that my brights were on. And I, at this point, was still new to the car. Couldn't figure out how to turn them off. But I was like, I know you're not really supposed to drive too close to people when you have your brights on.
Right.
So I turned down a street that I don't normally turn down.
Mm-hmm.
That I was like, oh, this is less populated, completely stopped looking at the road, and I'm futzing with my lights.
Mm-hmm.
Foot is still fully on the gas.
Right.
And I blow through a stop sign,
Boom.
and I got T-boned.
Yeah.
But it was obviously 100% my fault, and my car, spun around.
Yeah.
And I think, too, I think everybody was okay, but I want to say I hit, 2 cars.
Ugh.
And there was a pregnant lady involved.
Oh my God.
It was just a whole thing.
Yeah.
And
That's
I
so
was
scary.
so hysterically crying,
Me too.
freaking the
oh my
fuck
God.
out.
I was like, I was like, I must have killed several people. And literally was like, they got this big of a dent in their car.
I was like, it's over for me.
Yeah.
I'm going to jail,
I'm
prison.
going to jail.
Yeah.
I'm on my, actually, I'll just walk to jail. Thanks, guys.
Lock me up.
Lock me up.
I don't need to be out here. I am a menace.
I'm all set.
I'm a danger to the streets.
I don't need to be working at the Gap factory.
Right.
You can put me in jail.
100%. And I just remember feeling like the worst person in the world.
100%. Yeah.
And then I got in a couple other fender benders after that.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, this might not be for me.
100%. Yeah. No, that's kind of where I was at too. And I told my parents, I was like, I don't really want to ever drive again. And my mom was like, you got to get back on the pony. And I was like, okay. And so I am a very careful driver now.
Yeah.
And when I have to drive, I I'm going the speed limit.
100%. Totally.
And so much people are mad at me on the street because I'm going so slow.
Yeah.
And I'm like, whatever. I don't care.
Yeah. As long as I don't kill anybody else.
Yeah. So I hate cars.
I know. I feel the same.
Well,
There's just too many. We don't need them.
There's too many. And also, I think that like
bad for the environment.
Bad for the environment. I love the bus.
I'm a bus girl.
I'm a big fan of the bus. I wish CTA was, in a perfect world, I wish it was free to the public to use. But
so true.
That's a whole other podcast.
Right.
But
why can't our taxes go to that?
Why can't our taxes go to that? All
instead
those things.
of war?
Yeah.
Or Gail King to space.
I did like the memes that came from it though. So.
No, I know. At least we got a little something.
I would have rather just Gail King go to space. I
can't tell if she was even happy to go to space, although now she's kind of like doubling down a bit. Have you seen her interviews?
Yeah, she's been kind of angry, and I'm like, I'm living for the drama a little bit.
Same, it's so good.
Yeah.
And then Katy Perry said something along the lines of like, you will never know love until you
I'm so connected to
flight.
Earth. I'm so connected to Earth. Girl, you left it.
Right. And I'm also kind of like, that's a crazy thing to say to a bunch of people who will never
go to space.
Be able to go to space.
Yeah. It's very much giving Live from the Capitol here.
Completely.
These women going to space.
With her little Daisy.
Yeah.
She's insane. She keeps doing more and more problematic things. And I'm like, girl, we used to love you.
Yeah. We did.
And it's
now,
not a safe space anymore.
It's not a safe space anymore. No. We were mad at you for Dr. Luke, and you said, who's that? You said, I don't know him.
Literally.
And then you just kept on falling and falling.
Falling from grace.
Falling from grace.
Those girls. Okay, let's do your ugly.
Okay, my ugly. I actually wrote notes for this.
I love it.
Okay, so some context for the viewers. We were supposed to do this a couple days ago.
Yes.
We had to reschedule.
Thanks a lot, James.
It's okay. He had a cold. I also had a cold, so it's best that we just put it aside. But on April 15th, the day we were supposed to record. Do you know what that day is?
April 15th.
Yeah.
Is halfway
Say
through
it with
the month
me.
Of
it
April.
Is the anniversary of the sinking of the Titanic.
Oh my gosh.
One of the ugliest disasters in history.
Okay, so true.
Let me go over some numbers for you.
Please.
All right, chat.
Are you a Titanic head?
I'm a Titanic head. Yeah.
Love.
That's my camera right here. All right. On April 10th, 1912.
I'm locked in.
Titanic departs Southampton.
Naturally.
A lot of funny, happy, silly people on board, ready to go to New York. They make stops in France. They make stops in Ireland. And I've actually been to the destination where they last departed.
No way.
Which was really special for me, in Cove, Ireland. So we have 2,200 passengers and crew on board. On April 14th at 11:40 p.m., we hit Mama Iceberg.
Okay.
And fun fact, so they billed us as the unsinkable ship, which was kind of an omen. And they probably shouldn't have tested God like that.
Yeah.
But the whole reason it was is because they had these like airtight compartments on there. So if one was breached, they could close it and they wouldn't be going, but they would remain afloat until they got help.
Okay. I see.
And they could go with they could keep going with 4 of the compartments breached. 5 of the compartments were breached because they scraped the side.
Oh no!
Yeah, so that was a big sad doo-doo. And also, you think that like the gashes were like huge and pieces of the ship ripped off. They're only like the size of a regular piece of printer paper.
No way.
Yeah, they were just little
8.5 by 11.
8.5 by 11, all across the side of the ship. And they did some like research recently, and which is a great way to spend time, I guess. Like that's what we should be putting scientists to. Whatever, I digress. But if they had hit the iceberg head on, they likely would have survived because it would have only breached like 2 or 3 compartments.
Oh no, not the 5th compartment.
Not the 5th compartment, but they swerved to the side and then it scraped to the side. And so then at 2:20 a.m., that started sinking and it killed 1,513. So if you think about it, that's a 32% survival rate aboard the Titanic.
That is actually insane.
Yeah. And I was like, I was thinking that this was going to be my topic, and I was like doing madman research on this the night before. And then you were like, we're canceling. And I was like, I'm still doing this topic.
No, it's so relevant.
There's more.
Okay, I love it.
The Titanic. What's Titanic? What does Titanic mean by definition? It means of exceptional size, strength, or power. And let's talk about that. They said it was exceptional. They said it was unsinkable.
Right.
And that's a reflection on the hubris of man.
So completely true.
And the confidence of just like blind hope in something new and shiny.
Yeah, we do have a tendency toward that.
And I just think it's like something that obviously we are kind of all as a world obsessed with Titanic. But I think it's so fascinating to just like look at the human error.
And
oh my
gosh.
So many things went wrong. So many things had to go perfectly wrong for this to happen.
So true.
And
and isn't at the end of the day the iceberg relatively small?
Yeah, the iceberg was like I don't know what a normal size iceberg is, but it wasn't. Yeah. But that was the other thing. So they got warnings that there were icebergs, and they were like, whatever, like we'll keep going.
We're on the unsinkable ship,
and they were going so fast too because they were trying to beat another ship. There was another ship that was like
of course
crossing at the same time. It comes down to a race. It's a pissing contest at the end of the day, and they're trying to race this other ship. And so they weren't slowing down, and they were going roughly, I wrote this down. They were going 22 knots, which is
naturally,
which we don't know what that is. No one can ever know what that is. It's actually
we're not at sea.
We're not at sea, but it's around like 36 miles an hour.
Okay.
And give or take, I'm not sure. But if you think about that, like you're going that fast on the water, and you try to stop, you're gonna keep going. You're gonna keep listing because it's water. That's not, you don't have the friction to stop.
Of course.
So they were zooming. And like nowadays, cruise ships don't go like above like 20 knots.
Really?
They like will go slower than the Titanic was going. Because just for that reason, no one needs to be going that fast.
Right.
Over the sea. We have planes to go fast places now.
There are other modes of transportation you can take if you're in a hurry.
100%.
Okay, well, I love that you showed up with statistics.
Yeah, I was like, should I make a visual PowerPoint production?
Absolutely. No,
visual aid.
Were you always like, when did you start becoming obsessed with the Titanic?
I think I'm kind of fascinated with disaster a little bit.
Okay.
And because I was very interested in the Titanic.
Yeah, that was a big one.
Ever since seeing like the movie, it was like playing on TV or something, and I was like, what is this? And I was like locked in.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh my God, I can't believe this Jack and Rose thing. And then I learned that they're fake. And I was like, okay, wait. So this was like real. And I like learned more and more about it. And I was like, oh my God.
Down the rabbit hole you go.
Down the rabbit hole I go. But I was also like very interested in 9/11.
Okay, classic. That's another major one.
Yeah, I was like 4 years old and I was like, I'm going to solve 9/11. I'm going to figure it out. And I'm still working on it.
Right. We'll get back to you.
Still working on it. Going to get back to it. But...
No, I have a friend who recently decided, I think his kind of pandemic like fixation was 9/11. And he, I believe, has watched every single documentary, any piece of literature that has been published about 9/11, he's read it.
Yeah.
Which I kind of love that.
Absolutely.
You know, he's well read. He's studied up.
Yeah. And it also brings other disasters that come to light. There's another one called the SS Lusitania, which is
a boat?
It's a boat.
Okay.
And this happened during the I believe it was World War II, and it was a passenger ship going from New York to London. And German U-boats said, you guys, no one can sail here because this is under German control, and Germans are in control because we're the best.
Right.
And we soon learned that they were not the best, and they were actually very bad.
Yes. Famously,
they did a lot of bad
things. Yeah.
And one of them being, this was a passenger cruise ship.
Okay.
And they shot it down with a torpedo because they thought it was a fighter ship. And they killed.
Maybe just check first.
Yeah, maybe just give a check.
Yeah.
And and they killed everybody on board.
Oh my God.
No one survived.
Of course, no survivors.
No survivors. And
0% survival rate.
0% survival rate. And that one's like particularly sad just because like those were just like, I mean, it's also, you know, a reflection of casualties of war today, and we see it like all over the place at all hours of the day. But it's just like, war is so stupid and useless.
Couldn't be a dumber thing.
Couldn't be a dumber thing. And obviously Titanic is like an offshoot of that. That was just people being stupid. But like with the 9/11 and the Lusitania, it's just like a reflection of like, why are we doing this?
Yeah.
You know? Not to bring it down, but that's ugly. That's quite ugly, I think.
No, it completely is.
Yeah.
Was the reason that the Titanic was such a big deal because of the amount of people, or was this like a new voyage? What was the like?
It was the biggest ship at the time.
Okay, yes.
And it was the fastest. And
which we saw how that ended up.
And yeah, it was just like
Lots of rich people as well.
lots of rich people. Yeah, the owners of Macy's were on it. Ever heard of it?
Did they go
Macy's
down?
department store. They were very old, and they were actually depicted in the film. If you remember, the couple that like is laying in bed with each other as like the water.
Yes.
That's like meant to be them.
Whoa.
So that's rumored to be what happened to them.
Did they go down with the ship?
They went down with that ship. They raised their white
Okay.
flag,
Right.
as Dido would say.
See you
I will
guys.
go down with it. Remember that song?
Yeah, I do, definitely.
I love that song.
I'm kind of back on the Dido train recently.
Yeah. Chug it, chug it,
Something
choo choo.
about
Let's
it.
go.
I know. I'm kind of like
Speaking
maybe
of public transportation,
maybe that
get me on the
could be
Dido train.
straight up, and come on, come on.
come on.
Yeah, it's awesome on there. I feel like I used to listen to them a bunch, and then recently they started popping up on my
Is it a band?
playlist, isn't it?
I don't know.
I
I
think
assumed
so.
it was just one person.
Well, because there's definitely the lead female vocalist.
Yeah.
And then I guess I didn't think that her name was Dido, so I just kind of assumed that there were others.
I don't know.
Right.
I guess we could find
We
that
should
out.
ask her.
We should ask her.
Yeah, let's get her on
Get
the
her on the
pod.
pod. Get her on the pod.
Straight up.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I completely agree with you that these things are ugly.
Yeah.
I'd love to learn about them. I understand what you're saying about how there are so many other tragic things that we could, potentially be funding research for
Mhm.
at this time.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like it is still so interesting.
Oh my God, yeah.
I understand why people
I
are
think,
fascinated by it.
A documentary to watch and just brain rot to. Harmless.
100%.
I love
Have
it.
they like kind of solved? There's nothing left to be solved, really.
There the documentary I recently watched. It is they like sent two robots down there to
Yeah.
get 3D imaging of
I think
the
I
entire
knew we were
ship.
doing that. Yeah.
Yeah. But they hadn't done like 3D imaging before. They just kind of like looked at it and like
Okay.
peered around. It's the first time they got like a full scope of what it looked like. So was the discovery that they could see like if the boat hit head on, it would have been fine. So that actually only came about that research came about like this year.
Okay.
So yeah, but it's just like hubris and
Completely.
man-made
ugly.
error and quite ugly.
Yeah. Yeah, man's
And we have
hubris.
nothing to blame but white men for it.
Well, it seems to be they cause most of our problems.
Yeah, it's the world they created.
It's much of a tendency there.
Yeah, sorry, world they. I'm also presently a white man. Sorry about it.
Sorry. And hey, listen, we'll forgive you.
Thank you.
Yeah, no worries.
Thanks.
You're one of the cool ones.
Oh, good.
You get a pass.
I'm a nice guy,
Yeah.
really. I'm really a nice guy. Okay, wait. Did you see Honora?
Yes,
I remember.
did.
I actually listened to the podcast where
Yes,
you talked about
I
Honora,
did.
and I thought that the dude, like the bald dude, he was so like from the jump, he was so like I'm a nice guy coded,
Yeah,
and I was
totally.
like I can't do this. I hate this movie. And that's the reason I didn't like it.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah.
I think that I'm one of those people where if you would have told me that opinion prior to me watching the movie, I would have hated him too.
Yeah.
I'm an impressionable young mind. Because
You're a
after
sheep.
listening to Mackenzie talk about it, and she had very strong opinions, and I was like, you're completely right. And then I will say I had a couple of other friends who were like really into the movie, and they were like, to me, it's more about like how money always wins in the end, blah, blah, blah. Like those were the themes, versus being a movie that was specifically about sex work.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, that does make sense. Everybody is making really good points.
Yeah. I appreciate the dialogue on it. And I think I'm also at a point in my life where I'm like, I always say like, instead of saying this movie sucked, I say I didn't like this movie.
Yeah,
Because
so
I'm
fair.
so afraid of being like, I'm so afraid of being like this movie sucked and then being attacked for it.
100%. Like, okay, well, you have no taste.
Yeah. So I'm like, I didn't like this movie, and it's so good if you did.
Yeah.
I'm so happy for you.
And literally no worries if you were
I'm
into it.
literally so happy for you if you did.
Right.
And
Totally.
that's all we can do at the end of the day.
No, it is. And I think for me, I know that I am not a critic.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm not being. Listen. I'm just here. I'm just a little guy.
100%.
I'm just walking around.
I'm just consuming things.
I just walk around and stuff.
Right. You have been into that.
Yeah.
I got to get into that.
I just walk around and stuff. That's
And
it.
stuff.
And stuff.
Okay, well, my last question for you.
Yes.
Is your hater mode activated today?
I think I'm heated today. Yeah. I
Okay,
think
I
I'm a
love
little bit of
it.
a hater.
Okay, then you can come back on whenever you want.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think, sometimes it's good to enter the weekend feeling a little bit revved up.
I'm a little bit revved up. I'm real heated about the cars
Totally.
situation right now.
No, I completely
Um,
understand.
And yeah,
We
what
could
can I
go
say?
flip some off after this.
You wanna?
Yeah, we could go give some
Skip down.
cars
We
the
can go
bird.
walk around and flip some cars off.
Yeah, and
Oh,
stuff.
That sounds nice.
That does sound nice. Okay, well, thank you for joining me.
Thank you for having me. This was so fun.
This is a blast. I'd love to have you back on.
Would love to have you. I'd love to have you.
It's your podcast
I'm
now.
It's mine. Thank you so much for listening to Pessimistic at Best. I am your host now.
Yeah, I'm handing it over. And
Sorry,
that's it.
go
That's
ahead.
the end.
Go ahead. You can have your outro.
Listen, the only thing I wanted to say is everyone should go and see your show.
Yeah. Come on
Seriously?
down.
And
Follow
you said
Laughs
it's
at Lakeview
every
on
other?
Instagram. Every first and third Thursday of the month
Okay.
at Uptown Tap Room, and you can follow us at Laughs at Lakeview
For now.
for now, and then maybe that'll change. I don't know.
Nobody knows.
Nobody knows. Nobody really knows.
Listen, we're all allowed to change if it feels like something that you need to do.
I'm kind of gonna amen to that.
Mm-hmm.
Amen.
Okay, thank you guys for listening. We'll chat with you next week. Bye. And that's a wrap. I had fun. How about you? As always, thank you for living, laughing, loving, and most importantly, listening to my podcast. Want to stay in the loop? You can find us at Pessimistic at Best on Instagram, or if it's me you're looking for, that'll be at Sam Georgeson on all platforms. Don't forget to rate and review the show, and if bonus content is your thing, you can gain access to extra episodes by joining our Patreon. The link is in our show notes. And last but certainly not least, shout out to James for being the brains behind this operation. Couldn't do it without you, honey. Okay, see you next week.